Along my history, my path, I've been able to become a materials manager, a purchasing manager, a commodity manager, a contracts manager, a supply chain manager, and then as a director. And I think that when I sat down several years ago and I looked at the maturity model and some of these different things, I set my goals upon what things do I need to learn to be more successful and to provide greater contributions to my company. So I think through certifications, through memberships, through some of those different things, they allow us to have those tools to be able to grow.
So I am a member of a procurement member organisation in Australia, and I have been for a number of years. I would have to say it has not been very relevant for me. The generations that are coming through universities now, they're going to have to find different ways of communicating and learning to embrace social media in its most modern and technological form. That will need to happen in order to be able to reach these future members. If we use existing means, it's not going to work.
I do think procurement needs to, associations need to reinvent the wheel. Mm-hmm. Today, procurement is about adding value. It's not about running RFPs and RFXs. So I think how you have a relationship with a supplier in India to source something versus someone in LA can't be done through an association. It has to be done through real life examples. So I think you have more and more of the procurement associations that need to reinvent themselves if they want to be successful.
As long as you find a membership that actually add values to the CPO's direct reports and the team overall, and also can bring the insights, the global insights and critical thinking and thought leadership to you, then I think it's worthwhile joining that particular membership. And the points that I mentioned to you earlier is what we at the faculty are focusing in 2018.
But I think the keys to reinventing these organisations for modern times is to reflect the environment we're working in. So they need to develop platforms and mechanisms to connect with people in an ever-changing world. And so picking up on some of the sort of key trends in technology and in the way that communications are conducted.
Organizations need to remain relevant. There are so many things that organizations offer, whether it's education or networking or development or really futuristic thinking, that it's important to not try to be everything to everyone. I think then it gets spread a little bit thin, but be very focused on what your mission is and allow the customers for that service be discerning and select what's appropriate for what they're seeking.
Look, a membership organisation is going to have value. It gives you access to a community of people who are all thinking about what does the future of procurement look like. So if you want to stay relevant, you want to be part of a really good membership organisation like Procurious, where people are talking about the future leaders in procurement, what the technologies are going to look like, what the macroeconomic and political trends are globally that are going to affect procurement, and all asking each other and trying to solve the questions about how do we actually respond to those needs. So there's certainly a lot of benefit to be had in being part of those organisations.
For me personally, I'm conscious it's out there, and I think my peers in similar roles are conscious that those organizations exist. Of course, some of those big ones like the ISMs of the world, myself a member, it's tough with that balance in the world we live in, the globalization. I think that the timing element to add another layer of opportunity it's a balance, right? It's a balancing act.
I think the challenge here for organisations is helping people understand how to maximise the benefits that they can get from it. And there's the soft learning, so I can read blogs online, but it's actually physically getting out in front of people and meeting people, and I call it shaking hands and kissing babies. And until people are comfortable with that networking process and embrace it, and that's, I guess, for individuals, when you attend a function, that everybody understands what I'm here for, which is to network, to get some information and have people that are prepared to share that, accept one another, and just simply speak to each other. And that's how we all get to, I guess, get some advantage from it. And as an organisation, they've got to help their members understand that that's what they're there to do. They're there to support the other members.
Delivering in order to stay relevant.
Yeah, of course. I do think they need to reinvent their service offerings. We live in an evolving world, and so it doesn't make sense to not do that. But having said that, I think these associations really need to focus on how they market themselves. we need to move past the idea that we have an affiliation with an organization and instead move to an area where we see them as resources that we can turn to throughout our career.
In order to stay relevant.
Reinvent is the relevant word here, or transform inside of it. The organizations have to be topical. What we have in place right now with the ISM, I think, provides a good foundation, but sometimes at the local level, the meetings, the challenges, the issues aren't topical to our people. So the ability to address issues that are relevant in the moment for the organizations and tie it up with that membership is the challenge that any external organization faces. To that matter, organizations like Procurious are capable of addressing some of those issues.
Very good. I like that little hint.
Well, I think it's important to be involved in different procurement organizations. I think it does a couple of things. I think the first thing it does is it allows you to continue to network with your contemporaries in different industries. I think it also provides a medium by which you can learn about some of the industry trends that are happening from a procurement standpoint, similar to the type of information that we're being exposed to even today. And then I think thirdly, I think it also is a way to kind of certify and establish the where procurement is going from a official certification standpoint. I think these are great mediums by which you can create education and training that can translate into resume building resume builders for people who are going into different opportunities. I don't think I said that right.
I mean, people do need continuing education and certifications. We got to continue to do that kind of thing. But particularly the younger workforce, they're much more interested in having really strategic, big picture conversations about issues that matter in their world. And so events like Big Ideas is exactly what we should be moving towards.
Oh, love that. We caught